And just so happened one time we stumbled upon something. You know, it's a big white pentagram on the ground, candles, and it's like, okay. And then we keep looking around, we find somebody in a dog cage. A little lady in a dog cage, handcuffed behind her back.
Yeah.
Hollywood's highest ranks are now facing allegations of ritualized control and career-ending retaliation. What once looked like isolated scandals now appears to follow a disturbing pattern. For years, the industry packaged these moments as redemption arcs. Quiet verdicts, carefully managed apologies, and sentences that seem to close a chapter. But a new leak is tearing through that narrative, suggesting something more coordinated behind the scenes. According to reports, Denzel Washington once warned that the most powerful circle in Hollywood protects itself through humiliation and retaliation. Now, that warning is resurfacing at a moment when scrutiny is intensifying. Meanwhile, Sean Diddy Combs is reportedly being held at FCI Fort Dix, with a projected release date listed as June 4th, 2028. At the same time, the Los Angeles
probably leaning towards guilt. Now, on the racketeering, I agree with you that the predicate acts may be found, but that's not all they need. There's an ultimate question. The first question on the jury verdict form is, do you find him guilty or not guilty of racketeering? Before you even get to the predicate acts, which you only get to if you find guilt, they could just be hung up on that question and say, this guy's not Tony Soprano. I am not convinced that I even want to find guilt on the act.
County Sheriff's Department has opened a special victims investigation tied to a warehouse incident involving a hood, a Biggie Small shirt, and an accusation that someone had been labeled a snitch. In federal court, prosecutors are presenting allegations involving enterprise-level coordination, racketeering, and organized travel connected to what witnesses described as marathon freak-off gatherings. A $500,000 fine has already been recorded as part of the legal fallout. Yet the situation continues to raise questions. A chapel assignment inside the facility suggests an image of reform, while reports of an unauthorized three-way phone call hint at ongoing maneuvering behind the scenes. If these events were simply a string of unrelated collapses,
I don't know, it just feels like somebody's helping me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I say God gave me 9 lives, I'm down to like 2, maybe 1.5. I say, you know what, I'm about to go ahead, take it to Kenya.
Yes.
And I'm a lay low for a little while.
the pattern would look chaotic. Instead, critics argue the pieces appear strangely aligned. And if the alignment is real, the question many observers are beginning to ask is simple: who else might be part of it? Magnifying glass still to the right clapperboard. The public version of the story is simple: a fallen mogul serving his time, a recalculated sentence, and an old allegation resurfacing. But the reality appears far less tidy. The Federal Bureau of Prisons quietly adjusts the projected release date from May 8, 2028 to June 4th, 2028 without offering any clear public explanation. At the same time, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department confirms that its Special Victims Bureau received a police report from Largo on November 14th and has opened an investigation connected to a 2020 warehouse incident.
There is a partial verdict in the Diddy case. After 2 days, the jury has reached unanimous decisions on 4 of the 5 counts.
The problem is that 5th count means that we don't get to find out what the verdicts are on the other 4 because they are hung up on racketeering.
Which is what
in Los Angeles. According to the account, a producer claims he was subjected to a humiliating episode involving the Notorious B.I.G. shirt inside a storage facility, the same location where memorabilia was later prepared for transfer to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Months afterward, he describes another encounter: a hood pulled over his head, being forced into a room, and a single accusation echoing in the dark that he was a snitch. That word carries weight in certain circles. Industry insiders suggest it isn't used casually. Within tightly controlled environments, they say, the label can function less as an insult and more as a warning, a signal of discipline and hierarchy rather than disorder. The language inside the federal trial refuses to shrink the story into something personal. Prosecutors are not presenting it as a case of private misconduct. Instead, they describe a system. Using terms like racketeering, conspiracy, and criminal enterprise, They invoke a legal framework historically associated with organized crime networks rather than individual scandals. During the proceedings, 34 witnesses take the stand. Former assistants recount detailed logistics, coordinated travel, scheduling, supply runs, and cleanup efforts tied to gatherings that allegedly stretched on for days. A security employee testifies that he was offered money to remain silent after a 2016 hotel confrontation. Another witness claims he accepted $100,000 in exchange for handing over footage connected to the incident. The indictment itself lists a range of accusations: kidnapping, arson, bribery, distribution of substances, and coercion. Defense attorneys argue that prosecutors are attempting to transform messy personal relationships into something far more dramatic. Yet the legal structured case, the way it is written and argued, carries a different tone. It reads less like sensational gossip and more like a blueprint prosecutors believe reveals coordination. People following the case closely say that when investigators use the word enterprise, they are not simply describing events. They are outlining a chain of roles, influence, and responsibility. At that point,
a lot of things in Hollywood are ritualistic for sure. And if you pay close attention to it, you can see it. When you see somebody holding up this, with the two fingers close like this, that's the hand sign of the Baphomet. You know, they do say Luciferianism is real.
It stops looking like the collapse of one figure and begins to resemble something broader, a network rather than a single downfall. There is also the carefully staged performance of remorse. Inside FCI Fort Dix, Sean Diddy Combs reportedly holds a position as a chaplain's assistant, a role many inmates seek because it provides access to a religious library and a small private workspace. His publicist portrays him as deeply involved in the residential drug abuse program, presenting the assignment as proof of reflection and personal reform. But only days after arriving on November 3rd, prison records indicate he participated in a three-way phone call that violated institutional rules. According to documents, the call included talk of arranging visitors and even a remark about bringing 200 singles. When questioned, he reportedly told officials he had not received the orientation handbook explaining the facility's communication policies. Prison administrators recommended disciplinary action, 90 days without phone privileges and 90 days without commissary access. The filing appeared the next day, November 4th, his birthday. Someone familiar with the matter described the violation as significant, arguing it showed a disregard for prison regulations. The situation creates two competing images: the chapel assistant focus on rehabilitation